Ni, you need to study harder. Ni, you're not good enough. Ni, who would want to be your friend? These were my internal dialogues that I repetitively remind myself throughout most of my life. Very often, we are our own worst critic and being so hard to ourselves. These statements can negatively impact our self-esteem and even our quality of life. When we constantly remind ourselves of how incompetent we are, how can we possibly gather the motivation to succeed in anything? This is why we need to take control of our own internal dialogue. But how? By being a cheerleader. The cheerleader that I'm talking about is no other person than our own selves. When we sign up to be our own personal cheerleader, we can completely change the negative internal dialogue. We can always be around ourselves 24/7 to celebrate every small achievement and every single moment in our lives. For example, remember to pay my bill. Oh yes, no more late fee ever again. Reminding myself to celebrate my birthday. Awesome, I you. Or forgetting to say and ahs during my Toastmasters speech. Ni, you're the best of the best. By taking up our own role as a cheerleader rather than being a critic, we are able to celebrate every small moment and every achievement in our life and get rid of those horrendous disencouragements. Sure, it would be great to have family and friends to support us, but they're not always around us all the time to reaffirm our qualities. Plus, it's very unrealistic for them to constantly tell us how much they love us, how incredible we are to them, or how important we are in their life. If we don't take charge of being our own cheerleader, then who will? That's why we need to be more self-loving, self-honoring, and self-appreciating to ourselves. Let me share an example a story as an example. When I first competed for a Toastmasters speech contest for the first time, I was so nervous on the stage that I completely blanked out and forgot my words. I ended up getting second place at the club level. And as you can expect, I was being very hard on myself and criticized myself a lot during that time. But a week before the area contest, they told me that we can send 2 people in our club to the area contest, and I was given the second chance. I decided that I'm going to practice every single day this time. And so what happened? When I was driving to the stoplight at the red light in the street, people look at me thinking I was crazy talking to myself in the car. My 4-year-old nephew walked into my room thinking I was playing a game that I speak loudly to myself. There is a fine line between craziness and sanity. That's why I had to keep reassuring myself and keep telling myself that I need to keep practicing over and over again, because each additional practice is going to reduce my chance of having a mind freeze on a stage. It would be funny to expect that someone is going to be there to clap every single time that I practice my speech. Or even worse, a lot of time I screwed up and I have to restart rehearsing from the beginning and expect them to continue clapping. And even someone as close as your spouse would never want to sign up to support you to that extent. So how do we act as our own cheerleader? The first technique is positive self-talk. In my example, I told you that I practice my speech, and every time I practice more, I will feel like be rewarded with a smoother performance during my contest. Tell yourself that you're being productive and spending your time wisely when you're grinding through the hard work. Acknowledge your commitment and take time to reflect on the lesson learned, even though sometimes things do not turn out as well as you thought. The other technique is my favorite, and that is to reward yourself with your favorite food. It may be a juicy steak, an ice cream cake, or maybe even a trip all the way to Asia for fresh, real durian. Yeah. For those of you who are more materialistic, you can go online shopping after accomplish a task, or you can simply reaffirm your own success and tell yourself to keep it up. I'm not saying that we don't need family support or friends support, but the less we need to rely on others to keep us motivated, the longer we're going to stay happy and the longer we're going to be satisfied with ourselves. So fellow cheermasters and maverick friends, if you have a critic that's been living deep and long inside of you, it's time to fire the critic and hire a cheerleader. Hooray! Thank you.